Pastor David Donovan. Look at this. It says world's greatest flyers, 60 seconds, American Airlines. Now, I've been journaling and reporting since 1984 that American Airlines is actually a front group for the Muslim Brotherhood, the Arabs, that the money overseas in the Middle East owns this airline. And watch this video that it came out a couple months ago, that people are saying, this is really crazy. What is this all about? Let's start the video. Now, as we started, the first thing we're going to see, if you're looking at it right now before we let it roll, you see 3 men and something going across the desert, walking across the desert. Okay, let's roll. Now let's stop right there. Now, the first thing you see is this airline going over top of these 3 men. And look what it says. They walk faster in airports. I believe that this video, by the time you get done looking at it, it is a warning of a redo, that the American people are being mocked about what is coming, a redo of 9/11. Something is up, and American people need to be aware of it, those who are listening. So the first thing they say in this video is only 60 seconds, and I could wind up making it 5, but you really need to listen. This video starts with the desert where the Arabs are, the Middle East, got it? And they're walking. I see one holding something in their hand. Somebody's on the ground with something, and another person. And over top is, quote, flying a plane. But actually, it's the logo of American Airlines. They walk faster in airports. Who walks faster in airports? Now, that's interesting. You walk slow in the desert, but they walk faster in airports. And there's always these deals about having films and clips of Brussels before 9/11 in the airports, be able to show these terrorists coming through, how they were acting and what they were doing. They walk faster in airports. You may think they're walking slow here, but they do walk faster in airports. Go ahead. Stop. Than anywhere else. Than anywhere else. Roll it. Stop it. They like babies. I reported on my See This Dreamer Cometh channel that I recorded this last year that the terrorists were going to go after babies to instill the maximum fear in the American people. The Bible tells us in books like Jeremiah that when God allows terrorists to be loosed on disobedient nations and people who have lost the fear of God, God will turn, who ought to have the fear of God will turn loose on them people who have no fear of God at all. They have no mercy for old people or babies or virgins or young men. Let's roll it. Stop. But bring noise canceling headphones. They like babies, but they're going to bring noise canceling headphones. So they don't have to hear the noise of the babies, the screaming of the mothers. ISIS has been slaughtering babies in the Middle East, and this thing starts off with these people walking across the desert. The world's greatest flyers. One thing about 9/11, where all the truthers talked about, airline pilots, they got an airline pilots group that says it's impossible for some Arabs, Middle Easterns, that just jumped up, taken a few lessons, and pulled off the things these men did with those 9/11 planes. World's greatest flyers. They had to be the world's greatest flyers to do that. Let's roll it. Stop. Now, they've got out of the desert and they're flying over the clouds, coming over the mountains. Mountains that are not Middle Eastern mountains. Mountains out of Europe. And it said they know their mood. That these greatest flyers love babies, but they use headphones that cancel the noise. They know their mood. What they know, their own mood. They know the mood of the people in the plane. Now, as you watch this video, it lightly, if you watch it closely, tries to make you think there's a possibility of this talking about the pilots or the people getting on the plane. But just watch the language, the subliminal message in all of this. It's a well-known fact of the ways that the FBI discovered how these people communicated and what they did before the 9/11 attack. They used people's websites. They used Christian ministry websites. They hijacked websites the same way they did airplanes. They know their mood. Roll it. Look at that plane going. Stop. Contributes to the mood of the flight. So whoever knows their mood knows that their mood will contribute to the mood of the flight. Now, if you go back and you listen to 9/11 recordings, the people freaking out, utter fear, box cutter, slash, kill, drag through the airplane. And then other ones where the killing hadn't started yet and people are being real quiet. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Roll it. Let's stop it. Roll it just a little bit more. Stop it. What we have here, they pack. It shows a man's shoes and it shows a clock set on 10 minutes after 10. It shows a cell phone, a bottle of cologne, a camera, a belt buckle. But these men, whoever they are, they're the world's greatest flyers, like a pun on American Airlines pilots are. Well, the terrorists flew American Airlines planes and United. And to bring up a point here, the 9/11 report admitted it was some kind of inside job because somebody with American and with United sold all their stocks the day before the attack, got rid of all this stuff, and made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Half of it couldn't be claimed after the attack because the person did not want, or the people did not want, the public to know who it was that made this money. That's important there. 10 minutes after 10. Now you have two clocks here. You have a cell phone that will do a clock. You have a wristwatch that will do a clock. You have a camera to take pictures and a belt. And some kind of cologne. They pack. Let's roll it. Stop. Like they're solving a jigsaw puzzle. Enigma. Riddle. Trying to put something together that's hard to do. And again, there is a subliminal message to this, I believe, because the Lord has showed me since '84 in dreams and visions that American Airlines is a Trojan horse in this nation, and they are run and owned. The airline, its supercomputer system, by Islamists across the ocean. Let's roll it. Stop. What we have here is they've left the mountains and now they're coming across the ocean as far as the Pacific. No, I'm not sure if it's the Pacific, but these huts, grass huts, which could be Malaysia, Asia, but they come out of the mountains. They're coming across these other waters now. And still, the American Airline emblem, the wings, which if you take those wings and turn them and put them together, they make the perfect emblem of the Muslim Brotherhood, the sword of destruction. They always ask before they raise, go ahead, stop, and lower the window shade. Now the pilots are up front. So how are the pilots going to ask if they can lower or raise the window shades in the back where the people are? It's some kind of riddle. It's some kind of puzzle. Something's being said in this 60-second American Airlines video, this new commercial that has nearly 250,000 views, with 164 that like it and 280 that don't like it. And everything you read about, they go, this is nuts. What does this mean? What does this have to do with anything? Roll it. Stop. Now it really gets good here. They know they have a limited time on earth. They know they have a limited time on earth. This is about flying with American Airlines. This is about their pilots. It's about pilots, all right, I believe. But it's not about American Airline pilots as far as them being legit. Now they're above the clouds. And you see the light breaking through the clouds below. And you see the stars in the skies above the clouds. And some rock formation coming through the clouds, so they're very high. They know they have a limited time on earth. Roll it. Stop. and even less above it. Oh, so they run a tight schedule. They got to be on time below and they got to be on time above. Well, that would fit the pilots, but that would also fit a jigsaw puzzle terrorists putting together another 9/11 attack and using those planes. I have, in the last 5 years, a dream of a redo of 9/11. There are those wings again flying next to the light you see in the center of the picture. They know they have a limited time on earth. The terrorists in San Bernardino knew they were going to be killed. These terrorists, their whole policy is they're going to die for their no God. I mean, they sacrifice their babies and their wives and blow things up with these people. They go into missions like kamikaze pilots from World War II, the Japanese, and even less above it. So we don't have a lot of time to get this done on the ground, and even less when we get in the air. It's got to be pulled off smooth and get this thing done. Now again, I want you to look down there. Nearly 250,000 people have seen this, and 164 like it, but nearly 300 don't. And they're going, what in the world is this goofy stuff? And the reason it's being responded to that way is because of the subliminal message that is in this video. Go back to See This Dreamer Coming and pull up the videos that I have put up over the years on what's going on with American Airlines. Bridget Gabrielle, the born-again Arab woman whose website is Bridget Gabrielle, who reports on what the Arabs do in America and around the world. After 30 years of the Lord showing me about American Airlines, she started confirming it last year, putting up videos that the Arabs are on the inside of that thing. Now let's go again. Stop. Now they are flying over Holland. Those are the rows and the fields of the different colors tulips in Holland. And if you notice in the yellow, there's two birds. There's two birds like this big bird is following them. They're being led where they're going. Now bring that point up. Roll it. As the bird flies, stop. As the crow flies. As the crow flies. These are the world's greatest flyers. Oh, really? Let's roll it. Stop. And the world's greatest flyers fly American. And the world's greatest flyers fly American. So whether the flyers, the pilots, whatever they're trying to get you to see on the surface, that most people cannot see below the surface, there's a group of people down here on this page, nearly 300, that dislike this and say, this is goofy. What are they saying? What is the point here? And I believe the point is, it is a warning. It's the American people being mocked that there's another 9/11 coming. Let's roll it. Stop. American Airlines, and as we close this, even when I was in high school, their main base in Chicago, Everyday Oprah, who says there's all kind of ways to get to heaven other than Jesus, is on video calling for the deaths of elderly, older white people so America can have peace. Opened and closed her shows with American Airlines, something special in the air. Jesus is Lord.